5 car mods, you say? Well, this Greek god has the answer. Okay, happy Halloween, guys. Welcome to Tinkering Thomas. My name is Thomas, and we're gonna tinker. So for today, these top 5, all we're gonna do is list off these top 5 mods. Now, if you want to know how they're done, you can click on the links in the description below, and all the videos will be linked there on how to do these modifications. No beeping, thank you very much. The first one is an auto lock system. So one of the most annoying things in the world is when you're driving along and then suddenly your car locks and you want to let your friend out of the car or whatever it may be, and you can't because the door is locked.
Most cars on the road today will lock automatically when you go over a certain speed. You can turn this off, but you just have to know how to do it for the type of car you have. So Porsche, Nissan, Ford, they'll all have their own ways of doing it. I am currently looking to make a video on doing this for other brands, so check in the description below and I may have one for your type. Right now, as of the making of this video, I only have one for Nissan.
Number 2 is related to the seatbelt.
Everyone is familiar with the seatbelt chime or dinging, so you don't drive without your seatbelt for a few seconds just going down the road or down your driveway, and your car will start to remind you by beeping at you, and it never ends until you do put your seatbelt on. Some it's just for the driver's seat, some have it for the passengers as well. I don't recommend driving without a seatbelt, obviously that's against the law, but it is very annoying to have that dinging going off while you're driving, and most people nowadays are smart enough to know to wear their seatbelt without a reminder. In my example, I live on an acreage, and it seems quite pointless to me to drive from one side to the other with my seatbelt on when I'm just going 5 kilometers an hour over a little bit of grass. So there's a very, very simple way of turning this off, and all you have to do is cut one wire.
The third one is about fog lights.
Whether you know it or not, when you turn on your high beams, your fog lights will automatically turn off. So before you buy an expensive LED bar, get it installed, mounted, and end up spending $1,000 or $2,000 just to get an extra little bit of light you can't use on the road anyway, let's access the full power of your headlights and your fog lights. I was doing some playing around and found out a way you can actually keep them on. All you have to do is modify one of the relays, and voila, you now have access to the full light potential of your car. In my example, I used my 2001 Ford Explorer Sport Track. It will be slightly different for every vehicle, but it's the same idea.
The fourth one has to do with your reversing sensor.
On most vehicles nowadays, there's a reversing sensor, so if you get too close to something, it's going to start beeping at you. Right from day one, mine seemed to be a little faulty. That's obviously just a one-off issue and won't happen to most cars. And then I installed a rear bumper with some extra lights on it, and it became a little worse. So this modification is for anybody who has added something onto the rear end of their vehicle that is setting off their rear sensor. So this mod will completely shut off the rear beeping sensor on any vehicle.
And the last one has to do with your exhaust tip.
Alright, picture this. You just turned 16. You just passed your driver's license test. You just spent all your hard-earned money on your first vehicle ever, and now you want to make it the sickest thing in the world, the best thing on the road. Now, if you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh, that sounds a little like me, well, you're actually not you. You're probably me 5 years ago. That made no sense. Well, if you're sitting there thinking that's me, then you're in luck. When I was 16 and I got my first truck ever, the first thing I did was start to tinker with it and learn the ins and outs of this vehicle, and I came up with an idea. I just spent all my hard-earned money getting this vehicle, and now I don't have anything left over that I'm willing to spend on modifying it, so what can I do for free? Well, the first thing I did was I just chopped off the exhaust system. There's a junction on most vehicles between the catalyst converter or the catback and the engine. All I did was undo those bolts. It was a little rusty, so I just chopped it off in the end and take off the back half of the exhaust system. And holy cow, did this work well. It made it sound like a beast. It was so loud. It definitely made mashing my foot every now and then a lot more fun. If you are thinking of doing this to your vehicle, it definitely works, but there's a couple things you might want to consider first. First of all, just check the local laws, make sure this is okay. And the second thing is if you're sitting in traffic downtown all day in rush hour, this may not be the best idea, because if you have your air conditioning on a really hot day, or you have your windows open, some of those fumes are now going to be coming out just underneath you instead of behind the vehicle, and some of that gas might leak into the cab, so just be careful with this one.
Happy Halloween, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If it isn't Halloween, thank you so much for putting up with my shenanigans. All the links are in the description below for those 5 modifications if you want to know how to do them. Subscribe if you found this helpful, and smash the like button if that's what you're into. Thank you guys so much. A peace. man, why are we doing this? Why am I in this costume? Why is it so cold?